When you see this movie, kids are going to believe one day that these turtles actually do exist when we are done with this movie. These turtles are from an alien race, and they are going to be tough, edgy, funny, and completely lovable.
This presentation by Michael Bay was presented at Nickelodeon Upfront in 2012. The purpose of this presentation was to reveal their next Ninja Turtles film, which was in development since 2009. Simply titled Ninja Turtles, the project was initially written by Art Markham and Matt Holloway, with rewrites for the film being provided by Josh Applebaum and Andre Nemec. This newly completed script was titled The Blue Door, and it contained the very elements Michael Bay described in this presentation. Removing mutant from the title was warranted because in this new film, the Ninja Turtles were now extremely jacked, 6.5-foot aliens from a dimension called Dimension X. These aliens are called the Turtle Warriors, and it seems as if Master Splinter is from this so-called dimension as well. Not only that, the famous Ninja Turtles villain Shredder is also once again from Dimension X. Shredder is only a nickname given to him by Michelangelo. His real name is Colonel Schrader, and he's described as having yellow skin, red eyes, and having blades grow out of his body, and commanding an elite Black Ops unit called the Foot, which is of course supposed to be the Foot Clan. April O'Neil, Casey Jones, the Krang, and Bebop and Rocksteady were also present in the script. Now of course this script is strange, to say the least, and I'll leave a link to read it yourself within the description. It's important to know that this script, The Blue Door, was supposedly rejected before Michael Bay ever got attached to the project. As the film continued production, this idea to make the TMNT aliens was ultimately scrapped, instead deciding to use the team's traditional backstories. However, despite this departure, elements from the original idea did influence the initial early stages of the project, especially when it came to the artwork. This sketch is very crude. I know I literally use my fingers to draw it, but that's not the point. The minute you see it, you recognize where it came from. This drawing, although crude, represents how the Ninja Turtles are usually drawn in most adaptations, and this is the look that's been the most widely adapted in the movies, TV, and games. Now take a look at this drawing. What? Okay, calm down. Well, instantly you know where this look originated from. This, although crude, yet again, is basically what the TMNT looked like in the 2014 live-action film. And oh boy, were those designs hated by the fanbase, both for being ugly and straying away from their traditional look. It's not as if making the TMNT look good in live action is hard, as fans have been doing it for years at this point, and although outdated, they look pretty good in the original 70s film. They moved away from the animatronics of the older films for many reasons, besides the fact that they were complicated to use. Animatronic suits were also very dangerous. If you're familiar with the purple guy, you'd understand this very well. The TMNT were now brought to life through motion capture suits, especially the faces, which were digital recreations of the actors' performances. However, since you're trying to replicate the performance of an actor, it means that the Ninja Turtles had to be very expressive as well. Of course, the Ninja Turtles did not always look this way in the film, so let's attempt to track the artistic development to see how and why they evolved into the looks we have in the film. Some of the earliest conceptual artwork for the TMNT originate from artist Anthony Francisco. Back in 2012, producers for the Ninja Turtles film were searching for a visual effects house to of course craft the visual effects of the Ninja Turtles film. One of these visual effects houses approached was Illusion Industries. Francisco, who was friends with a sculptor from this company, found out about the Ninja Turtles project through this connection, and in an effort to help the VFX house get the gig, Francisco created a series of conceptual artwork to be included in the pitch to the producers. Perhaps you've seen this art floating around the internet, and frankly, I can see why they gained so much attention. The art, of course, depicts the Ninja Turtles in a very realistic style, following the anatomy of a turtle if they did become humanoid-like beings. Some art are also a bit more playful and cartoony with how they handle the looks. Of course, the most notable thing the audience would notice about Francisco's Ninja Turtles art is how they're all wielding guns. A huge departure from what we'd expect from the characters, and has attracted immense criticism from fans who view it. It's important to understand though that this artwork was never officially commissioned by the studio. The addition of guns is something the artist added on his own volition. These artworks also only represent a small fraction of artwork created for the pitch. Some of these were actually much more accurate to how they look traditionally, and some artwork give them their traditional weapons as well. The artist was a fan of the Tmnt. These artworks only represent a small fraction of artworks created, and they basically exist purely for fun, as the artist played around with tons of unique ideas. In the end, Illusion Industries never got the gig, so these artworks can be classified as more of fan art than official conceptual art, which isn't a bad thing, as many creators have their own unique reinterpretations of how the Ninja Turtles would look within their vision. Now, when it comes to more official conceptual art for the film, you'll find that the vision for the Turtles was very apparent. Realism was a priority, as of course this was a live-action film, so having the Turtles maintain realistic anatomy, skin, and facial structure would be important. This artist, for example, gives them the Master Oogway look. The Turtles have a skinny appearance. However, the most interesting element of the art is the turtle's skin. Raphael is given bumpy skin to emphasize his aggressiveness, similar to an alligator snapping turtle. The bumpy skin isn't present in the others, but they do maintain the patterning on their skin, which enhances the realism of their designs. Now, the most notable aspect of this Ninja Turtles art is actually the nostrils present. Nostrils are a universal part of the artwork, no matter the change made in the Turtles' designs or the unique poses they strike. It's those darn nostrils. It haunts our nightmares and is prevalent in every day of our lives. I'm sorry, big nostrils are just very distracting, especially in the real world. I wish this wasn't the case, as all the artwork are amazingly put together and have very cool interpretations of how a live-action TMNT would look like. The thing is, nostrils aren't necessarily a bad thing to add to the TMNT. In fact, nostrils can actually look very cool if done right. Just take a look at this art by Dave Raposa. The nostrils actually complement their looks, as the Turtles maintain their traditional appearances. I think these images is what kids these days would describe as raw. The reason the nostrils are a bit stranger to see in other artworks is simply because the Turtles have realistic faces, making them look like deformed green humans rather than turtles. Regardless of your feelings on the nostrils, they were here to stay, as they made it into other batches of artwork. There was other conceptual art, mostly pertaining to Shredder and his Foot Clan. In the original Blue Door script, Shredder, or Colonel Schrader, was described as a military figure who leads a Black Ops unit called the Foot. While the Blue Door script wasn't ultimately used, elements of this original character are present in the art and even the final film. When you take a look at some of the early conceptual artwork, you'll notice that Shredder takes on a militaristic look, wears what appears to be combat armor, with a metallic-like exoskeleton on top, which must have been a suit that enhances his speed and strength. Other conceptual work on the Shredder, but very much embraced this tactical, militaristic look as well, with some even arming him with a gas mask and an assault rifle of some kind. The militaristic look also extends to the Foot Clan, who in general look more like an elite SWAT team and a Black Ops unit than ninjas. Although this military look is cool, there were ideas to have Shredder maintain his original and traditional look, looking as if he jumped straight out of the cartoon, and other conceptual work also try to bring the two worlds together by having Shredder look both traditional but also having elements of military technology within him. Ultimately, in the final film, Shredder does maintain a semblance of his original look, but still having an element of high-tech technology within his suit.